it's Sony Vegas or Adobe Premiere like I use, it just slots it in nicely and has all your audio tracks in place for you to use. Next, you're going to set how many audio tracks you want. So for a lot of people, you might only have 1 or 2. So whether that might just be your game audio and your microphone. I have a way that I run my game audio, my microphone, and then my kind of Skype or TeamSpeak or Discord audio through a third track. So I run 3 tracks. You could just turn all these on and maybe then use them for other things, but usually you'll be using 2. Or 3 of these. If you want a tutorial on how to get the third track for your Discord audio, you can search on Google, search for voice meter split audio tutorial, and you should find out something like that. Next is the encoder. So the encoder here, I had a couple of people in my last video saying some interesting things about this and getting a bit confused. So the encoder that I use is the NVENC H.264.
Yeah, finish it up.
No way, he just... No pressure!
Now this is the NVIDIA's encoder that comes kind of packaged with your NVIDIA GPU. I have a GTX 1070 graphics card, a really nice graphics card that can run the NVENC H.264 encoder really, really nicely. If you look at this box and you don't have this NVENC H.264 encoder, one of 2 things is happening. Actually, one of 3 things. Number 1, you don't have a good graphics card. You've only got an integrated graphics card. Unfortunately, then you're going to have to go with X264. You might possibly have a quick sync here if you have it enabled on your CPU. I'm not going to explain that today, but you're going to have to go with X264 and look for a different tutorial because I'm not going to be explaining it today. Number 2, you do have a really nice graphics card, but it's an AMD graphics card, like a Radeon series graphics card. In that case, you probably should have another thing here, which I can't remember what it's called, but it's the AMD's version of NVENC, and it basically does the same thing, so you can select that, and you should be able to follow along with the recordings in a similar way. The third thing is maybe you do have a really nice NVIDIA graphics card, but you still don't have this here. Make sure you've got the latest drivers installed. You can get the latest drivers by going to NVIDIA GeForce Experience. You can find it, you can search for it, open it up, and then you can download your drivers through that, and it's really, really simple. Next thing is rescale output. So we're going to be leaving it at 1080p, so just do not change this. And then we get into our control settings for what's going to give us the quality. So we have a couple of different options here that you can go with. At the moment, I'm going with the rate control of CBR, which is a constant bitrate. This means that no matter what time you're at in the video, the bitrate I set here is the bitrate that's going to be used. The bitrate is essentially how many bits are able to be put into like a frame, essentially, I think. So it's how much quality can we give to the footage, like, over time. So a 50,000 bit rate is really decent for NVENC. You could even up this to maybe 60,000, but 50,000 is what Shadowplay runs at. If you guys know what Shadowplay is, it's NVIDIA's encoder in the GeForce Experience software, and that gets really good quality. So I base it off that and just go for that, and it works out well for me. If you really want to push the quality, but it might give you larger file sizes, you can instead go with a constant quality preset, and then set this to 18. So what this does is instead of saying, okay, I'm going to keep the bitrate the same throughout the whole video, it says I'm going to try and keep the quality the same throughout the whole video. This means if there's any really crazy sections in the video, maybe you're playing like FPS where you're moving really fast, there's explosions going on everywhere, and the system says, okay, we need more bitrate than 50,000. It will up it to keep the quality at what we call 18. Just put it at 18, it works out really well. Or if you want to save some file space and maybe save some time on your computer, put it at 50,000 on a CBR bitrate. Keyframe interval, just set it at 0, auto, fine. Preset, this is kind of down to you. I keep it at default. These settings can boost your quality in certain ways. Some people like to go Blu-ray, some people like to go high quality, but right now I've just been keeping it at default just to make sure everything works fine. You can look at what these do by searching them up on the NVIDIA encoder through Google to see which one might work best for you. Profile you want to set to high. This is mainly because the profile is to do with whether you're recording high definition or standard definition. For standard definition, you'd be going main, but for high definition, we want to be going high here. Level, just keep it at auto. Enable 2-pass encoding because it hasn't had any effect on me. Like enabling or disabling, I don't see much difference, so I just keep it enabled because it should give you better quality. GPU, just keep it set at 0, and then B frames, leave it set at 2. Next, we go to audio and just jack all these up to 320 bitrate. I know I don't use track 4, 5, and 6, but just set them there anyway in case I ever enable them. Okay? Next is audio. So in the audio settings, this is how we set up all our microphone and all that kind of stuff. So first thing is very key, sample rate. So the sample rate is a frequency at which your sound is recorded at. You want to make sure this matches up with your sound settings. Now, so set this at 48 kilohertz. And then go to your sound settings, down here, say recording devices. I can go to my microphone here, my producer USB microphone, right click it, go to properties, go to advanced, and make sure here it's set at 48,000 hertz. So this is the highest this will go, 2-channel 16-bit 48,000 hertz. If this, for example, was set at 44.1K, then this would have issues in the software. It would lead to there having to be a conversion of sample rate, which can actually put a massive load on your CPU and also cause some syncing issues. So make sure the sample rate matches up with whatever devices you're using here. Go into your sound settings and make sure they match up. Set the channels to stereo.
Yeah.
And
my
then
god.
down
You
here
just
you
moved
can
the
have
mirror.
2 desktop devices and 3 mic devices. So my mic device I set as my producer USB microphone. And then for my desktop audio, this is my split audio, which you can go search for. This voice meter, which I mentioned before. So otherwise here you could just select